All right, there it goes. Okay, so what's going on, everybody? So this is SO Chris 199, and I'm coming at you with a new episode. I haven't made a video in a while, but hey, it is what it is. I've been really busy. So, man, unemployment, my old friend. I'm depending on you again. Something that has been, I guess, like constantly on my mind. I'm not unemployed. Actually, I have a career right now. So that I've had for the past, let's see, what today is like the second week of June. So of 2026. So I've now been at this career for 7.5 months and I'm not getting any other job. I went and prayed about it because I was thinking about opening up my own business, and I prayed about it last night, and I felt God was telling me, no, do not do this. I heard him tell me no, so I went and scratched it out. I'm not going along with the plan. So probably wouldn't have worked anyways. This idea I came up with is like a side hustle that I was going to make into a business. Anyways, so the monster of unemployment and just not having not having something to, get up in the morning and you got something to look forward to. It's just, look, I'm one of those guys that I've seriously been unemployed off and on for since 2007. I'll eventually make a video for this channel about just going back through my entire work history because it extends a lot. It's even watching the old videos back and me telling stories with people about my old jobs. It's like people find it entertaining because I've lived a life of like Jack Kerouac, I guess. I've lived a life of a Southwestern nomad. So where I've had so many different jobs and so many different fields, like all these different odd jobs. So anyways, I did all the ones for security except for the previous job. So I'm going to eventually be making a video about my last one before I started this job. So anyways, so what happened is that I've been unemployed multiple times since 2007. This has been going on, it's 2026, so 19 years. My first job was at Hutch's Car Wash as a car wash vacuumer. I vacuumed out vehicles. I would spray them down at the tunnel, and then one time they sent me over in front to wipe them all down to collect, the tips. But I only did that for a day or 2 days, and then they sent me back to the tunnel. But anyways, it was in March of 2007, before the housing crisis. So, man, I was just thinking to myself, man, my friend from Phoenix told me a couple months ago, he said, look, it's better to have a job than not have a job. Because all the times that I've been unemployed, either getting fired or quitting jobs, just because I have panic disorder, so it's difficult for me to regulate my emotions. And I don't want to take medications because I've been on medications before. Going back to 2015 was when I was on a doctor's medication only for 3 days, and I had to get off of it. I legit could not be on the medication. It amplified my anxiety. It made me feel even worse. I couldn't eat. And then when I tried to get off the meds, I legit took these almost microscopic white pills that my doctor gave me at the time to regulate my anxiety. It was some kind of antidepressant, and I seriously only took them. I took 3 for 3 days, and then it took 14 hours of withdrawal to go back to my baseline, and that was just taking 3 pills. It took me 14 hours of withdrawing to just go back to normal. How the hell is this even is stuff like this even legal? I seriously don't understand. But anyways, so yeah, look, the problem is that a man needs something to do. The Lord created all men to work. We're all supposed to be working we're all supposed to be doing something. And so what it looks like for most men is that you kind of have to go get a job like that. That when I was at the gym earlier, because I've been sick for the last 4 days, technically the last week and a half, but I've had 4 days off of work just because I had to go to the urgent care 2 days ago. I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm on like I'm on 3 medications and a nose spray right now. So I'm actually starting to feel like better, like I'm feeling normal again for the most part. But so anyways, it's like what Heidenreich was saying in that interview I just listened to when I was doing light cardio at the gym this morning. The thing is that like he was talking about how he works at Walmart and how he lifts pallets and plates off the trucks, like to load it into the warehouse. So, and the thing is, someone like him could have just been really bitter. And I've been in this situation literally for like almost 18 years off and on, where it was always the same thing. I know I'm better than this. I shouldn't be doing this. I know like I'm creative, I'm talented, I'm very artistic. I have a high IQ. I shouldn't be doing this kind of work. I shouldn't be working at Peter Piper. I shouldn't be working at this Red Cross call center. Like I shouldn't be working at a call center about, garage door repairs. Like insert job. I should not be doing yard work for a job. Like it's always like I've always had a problem with authority figures and a problem with like pride issues to where I always think that I'm better than what I'm doing. And it's like I always like, okay, well, the hell with you. I'm leaving. Anytime someone will show me any amount of disrespect, I just walk out. And because it's like I'm lowering myself to, for what I think of myself to do this garbage job. And then, I watch videos like this one guy, he puts out videos named Schizo Dumps that got recommended to me on YouTube. And he put out a video like last week about this subject, about people, well, I know that I'm better than this job. And, if you quit, you need to have like a plan and stuff like that, which is understandable. You should have a plan. But it doesn't mean that the plan is actually going to go the way you think it's going to go. Because usually from what I've experienced and what I've seen with my friends, family, and with other people that I like associates and stuff like that, it doesn't like work like that. It's kind of the same thing where once you're out of the job that you're at, you're kind of screwed. So, yeah, it's just, look, a man is supposed to be working. So whatever it is that looks like, even if you're at a crummy job, it's kind of implied that you have to stay there. And now, at the age of 37, I'm finally I've started realizing this probably like a year, maybe 2 years ago. It started to really hit me like you can't just walk out on jobs. So it took all the way up to the age of 35 to where I was just complaining about every like job I've been at, and every time I get frustrated and I want to quit and move on and go do something else, because there's this thing in me that like believes that the grass is always greener on the other side. My boss is not going to treat me like this at this job. The people are not going to be jerks at this job. Like, this whole thing isn't going to be a huge headache like the last job. It's like, dude, I've come to the realization, like I'm telling you, for whoever watches this video, I'm telling you right now, it does not work like that. No matter where you go, the job is garbage. It's just that it just is what it is. So you're never going to be happy, like fully. You're never going to get they're never going to live up to your expectations. And you're always going to feel that like, I'm better than this, so I shouldn't have to be doing this. I've been feeling like this since 2007, and it never changed. It never morphed into something to where, like, oh, I'm a doctor now. Like, and even like I watched a video with that one guy who's a spine surgeon, who was saying like, I went to school for 14 years, and even I forgot, it was Dr. something. I forgot like what this guy's name was. I haven't watched him in a while. Like, even he was talking about, he was like, I went to school to be a surgeon for like 12, 14 years, something like that. Like all these years of school to get the doctorate, then like 2 years of residency or whatever it is that he did. And he was like saying like, there's a lot of days I come into work and I don't want to do this because as a surgeon, you're on, like, even if I would have reached some ridiculous goal like that, you're on call 24/7. So you still don't have a life, even though you're making like $1,000 an hour. It's like, he was kind of saying, like, I'm not saying it's not worth it, but I put in all this work. So, and a lot of people will count on me for this surgery center that he runs a surgery center. I think it was like in Houston or something. And he said all these people like count on me, so I can't just not do it. One other Asian guy actually did walk out of being a surgeon. And he said, because of how flawed our American system is when it comes to healthcare. He said he was like, morally, I can't get behind this anymore because I'm performing surgeries on people that aren't getting healed. So, anyways, the first 2 weeks, what I noticed, my tongue feels weird, is I bit it last week when I was eating dinner, but still like not healed yet. But anyways, so here's the thing. Here's the problem. When it comes to work, like when you leave your job and you walk out, the first 2 weeks is like it's the honeymoon period. That's like the golden silver lining period, because it always happened like that with me. Going back all the way to 2007 to 2025, the last time I walked out on a job was I put in my 2-week notice and then I didn't do the last week. And that was back when I used to work at the mental hospital. And so it's before I moved here to New Mexico. I was out of a job for 3 weeks, but then I went back. I finally found a security job and I was there for 5.5 months before I had now had my career right now. So, anyways, yeah, the thing is that the first 2 weeks is the best honeymoon period, because that's when you get all your rest. You finally feel like you're free, like you inherited your life back, like someone gave you back your life. You get all this extra freedom you didn't have before. You get to work on all your side projects. Like if you're artistic like me, you got to work on all your music. You got to sit there and write your poetry. You got to sit there and write your short stories. You got to sit there and I can like sit here and like, play the GameCube. I can like do whatever. I can go on and play my PC games. I can watch whatever I want. And then it's just, I can go to bed whenever I want. It's just, you have nothing but freedom. But the problem is that everything is good in moderation, except for moderation itself. Sometimes even moderation needs to be in moderation. What I'm trying to say here, sorry, I got this nasty medicine taste in my mouth. Hold on, let me go grab water. Because I had to popped on my medication before I turned on this video. All right, so anyways, yeah. But then once you're done, like when you're done with these 2 weeks, then things start to get weird, because now you have too much freedom. And then you start, as a man, you start thinking to yourself, how am I going to pay my bills? And then it turns into this vicious cycle. Even if you live with, like, you have a wife, you have a husband, or you have roommates, or even like what I did with my parents, like my dad back then, is that I would always beg my dad for money. Like for like any time I would get a job, I would only stay at the job for like 3 weeks and quit. Or I would have like a panic attack, like driving to work. But then when I would try to get on unemployment, they wouldn't give it to me. Or if I tried to get on disability, like back in 2014, when I was living in Tucson, I applied to get on disability, like permanently. And thank God that actually fell apart. The things you think that you really need in the moment, it's actually a curse. And you just don't know it in the moment. But when everything keeps crashing down around you, when the things you're trying to make happen don't happen, it's actually for the best for you. So that's what I've learned over time. Just because something is not working out the way that you want it to, doesn't mean that your life is just completely like, oh, you're just going to be in hell. Like that's not how that works. Like it's because God is stopping it for a reason. So back in 2014, I tried to get on it and I saw 2 different doctors. One of them did say that I had PTSD and I was already diagnosed with panic disorder in 2006 by my parents' old doctor back when I lived in Northern California. But I saw this woman named Dr. Falcon, and I got diagnosed with PTSD, and then I got diagnosed with it was like a third thing. I don't remember what the other thing was. It had to do like something like that. But anyways, so then I had to go to all these other meetings that the government told me to go to, and then finally, when it was all done, I waited seriously for like 5.5 hours at the government building to wait to get to a window. Like, it seriously took that long. Like, I went at I think I seriously went there at like 9, and I didn't 9 a.m. and I didn't get to the window till like 1:30 p.m. It was like something like that. It was like a ridiculous amount of time, and this was like a year later. It was like in 2015 at this point. Now, this might have been, I think it was summer of 15 is when this happened. I think. Yeah, it was like something like that. So, and then I still remember I was at the window and the woman told me, she handed me this like packet, and it said in the packet, "We do not have substantial evidence showing that you are technically disabled. You are able," and it said on there like, "We did not find it. We didn't find evidence you are able to work." And I remember I was like infuriated. I remember I went home and I threw the packet that this woman gave me at the window. I threw it against the wall. This might have been actually late 2015, early 2016 when this happened. Because this is before I ended up working at Safeway as a produce manager. But yeah, before that, I threw it against the wall. I was screaming and cussing. I remember, I think I was picking up the pillows on my bed and I was throwing them against the wall and stuff. I was infuriated because I kept thinking to myself, dude, I can't keep doing these jobs because I keep having panic attacks. But then over time and through prayer and people from, the Calvary Church, different, churches I attended that was kind of off and on at the time, and my friend group at the time, we would pray about that stuff, and then I just stopped having panic attacks, altogether. I maybe have a panic attack now. I maybe have one once every year, if that. Maybe a year and a half I'll have a panic attack. So, but I was having them seriously when I turned around 17 or 18 years old. When I was diagnosed with panic disorder, I started having almost daily panic attacks, almost on a daily basis. I seriously had 60 or 70 panic attacks in a year. So I was having them at least once a week. I remember that. This was in 2006, 7, 2008. So stuff like that. So, but even though I had a job back then. But yeah, I'm telling you, look, there's a 2-week awesome grace period to where you basically go back to normal because you're given all this time to rest. But then you start thinking about bills. How am I going to support my wife? How am I going to support my husband? Where's the money going to come from? What am I supposed to do? And then you go back to panicking. And then every day kind of just, it's like that Nine Inch Nails song. Everything's exactly the same. And then everything just kind of loops together when you're unemployed. And I remember from off and on since, let's see, this had to have been, so I was working at AFNI in 2012. I was there for 6 months. But then right after that, as I went to APAC and I worked for Direct Energy, right after that. And I think I only had a week off or 2 weeks off before I went back to work, and I was there for 4 months. But then right when I went to APAC and when I was done, this was summer of 13. Around that time period is when I just, I would go to a job for 4 months, 5 months, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 weeks, whatever it was, and then I would be unemployed for 6 months straight, because in Tucson there's no jobs. That's the problem. Even the same thing here in where I live in New Mexico, it's the same problem. There's no work. So back when I was living in Phoenix, I could quit jobs left and right, back when I was working unarmed security, because I could get a job literally 2 days later. Anytime I got disrespected or walked out or fired or whatever, for whatever reason, usually it's because I was calling out sick, because I just didn't want to, I would legit get sick, and then for whatever reason, like things would happen, or so I would get walked out for whatever like reason. I was always getting in trouble for things, or I would just be like, yeah, I don't want to do this, and I would walk out. Like, yeah, I don't feel like doing this job anymore. It would hit like 7 months and be like, okay, I'm done. But when I was in Tucson, this went on for like a decade, where I would work for like 2 weeks and then I'd have 6 months of unemployment. I worked for a month, 5 months of unemployment, and it just kept going back and forth. And your mind starts playing tricks on you because you just start kind of going insane. Like, a man needs something to do. So, like, you kind of always have to have a job. And I was just telling my brother this about this job because of how pissed off I was getting about how many hours I keep getting scheduled to work, and where I keep getting sent to different locations, in my current job, my career job. And so there's at times where I'm working, like my schedule would change in the same shift. So sometimes I'd be working like 14 hours, and then I only have like a 10-hour layoff to where I would get home and then wake up in the afternoon, because I work night shift right now, but it might change in like a week, I don't know, or 2 weeks. Everything's kind of up in the air all the time. And then I would work like 13 to 14 hours, and then one day I work 12 hours, and then I would have back-to-back 5 shifts in a row of 12s. Sometimes 6 shifts in a row of 12s. Like, I think I've only had, like, in the last 7.5 months, I think out of 2 out of the 7.5 months, I had 2 consecutive days off. So it's just a lot of work at my job. Like, now, I remember telling them, like, dude, I got to go to I was like super pissed off, saying like I got to go back to work at the dog shit factory. I said something like that, like texting my brother, like, dude, this is ridiculous. And like, leaving a voice message on the phone, like for the group chat, like I can't, like, dude, I got to get the hell out of here. Like, so I was like, dude, there's too much work at this job. I got to quit. But it's like, okay, but where am I going to go? What else am I going to do? It's just, and that's what I've learned. It's a cycle. It's like a snake, when the snake is eating like its own tail kind of thing. It's just self-destructive. Because, dude, the grass is not always greener on the other side. And my old friend from Phoenix told me that. My old, one of the guys that trained me in psych hospital security, like, told me that. And even one of my trainers now at this current job, because I still work in security. I'm just in armed security now. But anyways, yeah, the thing is that the grass is not always greener on the other side. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be good times, and there's always going to be bad times. You can't, like, here's the thing. I was telling my wife this when we were having dinner like 2 nights ago. Like, we were sitting at the table painting, and I was telling her, look, I was saying, like, look, me and her now are on the same wavelength when it comes to working, like having a job. Because we've been married for like 6 years, and I've just been fighting it. I'm just trying to use my fist to, break through the wall, and it never works. The wall doesn't break. It's like literally me like punching this wall right here. I mean, my fist will probably go through this, but like if the brick right here, it's just, dude, it's not going to work, because you always think, it's like it's what I told her is that I said, look, I think I'm just supposed to accept that there's just going to be little moments throughout the week for something for me to cherish, kind of thing, and just be happy about. There's going to be little moments throughout your week that make it all like worth living. Like, it makes it all worth doing. Well, not being alive, because obviously you want to be alive, but I mean, like, to kill off the job you're currently in. It's like, okay, well, there's too many bad times, I got to go. Okay, but where are you going to go to? There's nothing you can escape to, and that's what I'm finally learning. This is my final job, working in armed security. This is my last job. Every time I get pissed off and stressed out, the thing is that you just need to take a mental health day. You need to learn to rest and not quit. And that's what I'm finally learning in my early middle age, of the age of 37. I'm about to be 38 in 2 months. And I'm finally learning to just accept that whatever job you're at, just stick with it. Just stay at the job. It's like what the schizo dump guy was talking about on YouTube, where he said, well, you just need to quit the job because you are better than that, like all this stuff. It's like, okay, dude, I've already done it. I've been there. My plans never worked out because I had these huge, grandiose plans of getting picked up by Penguin Random House or City Lights or Simon & Schuster. Dude, I'm here to tell you, for the people out there, all the men, the young men that are watching this video, I'm here to tell you it doesn't work. You need to sign a blood covenant. You need to sign the contract, signing your soul and your life away to Lucifuge, okay? You need to go to Bohemian Grove, and you have to do these nasty blood sex rituals and like all this stuff. You're not going to get put on any other way. It's not going to work, okay? Because I tried to do it the honest way. Getting my books, signing them, sending them out, like going down to the post office, sending out like 4 books at a time. Dude, I've tried all of this since probably 2015. I've been trying this. It's been 11 years. I've never got picked up. I've won all these different contests, like these, I've won all these different poetry contests. I've won short story contests, but I never got paid. It's just like what Patrice O'Neal said when some guy stopped him on the street and said, you're the best. Like, you are the funniest, best comedian I've ever seen in my life. Like, you are number one. And he took his pockets and he pulled his pockets out and he said, compliments don't pay the bills. Dude, just stick with your job. That's what I'm here to tell you. My best friend that I consider like a brother in the group chat, my own brother, they have told me countless times, do not quit your job, because I freak out. I have a bad nervous system. I'm a nervous guy. I have knots in my stomach a lot. Like I'm a perfectionist. I need things to go a certain way and things never go that way, but that's life. And probably like once a week, I send them a text saying, you know what? Forget all of this. I quit this damn job. I can't stand it anymore. I want to quit. And they keep telling me over and over again, for the love of God, don't quit. Because, dude, it's not worth it. You're not going to go somewhere. Everybody I know tells me the same thing. Do not quit your job unless you have something lined up. But even in the times when I had something lined up, like, look, I'm going to tell you the truth. There was only one job in the 35 jobs that I've had in life. There was one job I loved going to consistently. And that was when I worked hospital security at the mental behavioral hospital in Phoenix. That 2.5 years, that was like some of the best times of my life. I don't know why I loved such a dark job, but I loved it. Friends I have there have become very close friends to me. We've literally been through hell and wars together with these mental patients, with staff, with a bankruptcy, with the different company coming in. We literally been through it all in literally like off and on 4 years. Because I left to do like 5 other security jobs, and then I kept going back to the same job. Because I don't know how to just I don't know how to let things be. So, but here, that's the only job in my entire life. From 2021 to last year, when I left in February of 2025, is the last time I worked at that mental hospital. And even back then, it still wasn't like that great, because there was certain coworkers the new director put me with that I couldn't stand working with. These 2 different women. But anyways, not going to get into it. Just keep your job. And when you get a bad job, just keep it. Don't go up and go try to do something else. Dude, just stick with what you have. Just be grateful and have gratitude that you're even working. I went to the gym today. This morning, after not going for like 2 weeks, I saw a woman in there that she was missing a hand. She only had it was a stump with a thumb. And I looked at that woman and I said, thank you, Lord, I have both my hands. Because I could easily have 0 hands. I could have 0 arms. It's something I've always struggled with, but it's true. Just be grateful and thankful for the things that God gave you. And even if you are working at Walmart, just like what Heidenreich said, just throw the damn pallets. Pick up the pallets, throw them, go home with a little bit amount of energy that you have left. Just work on the stuff. Like, I'm a writer, so I work on my writings when I'm not at this job. You do the job you're at to pay the bills so you can do the real job when you're at home, the one you're not getting paid for. Okay? So this is SO Chris, $199. And you know what? I'm done making this video. I'm done.